And we got the shed done. It looks much better. Didn't get the door done, but I kind of ran out of time.
Didn't get the door done.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode. This week we are in downtown Portland, actually in the West Hills, and we're going to be checking out some parks here, and one of our favorite parks, the Washington Park Zoo.
Yes,
Why is that
I love the zoo.
Well, you do love the zoo, and not only is it our favorite park or your favorite park, but it's also where we had our first date.
That's true.
Yeah.
You didn't know it was our first date.
I didn't know that. I thought it was a group of people going to the park, but apparently it was a date. But hey, this week we are excited to bring you a top 10, and this is one of the best top 10s, I think. It's a great top 10 because it is the top 10 ways to save on your energy bill. So that means electricity, power for your vehicle, whether it's gas or electric, any way you can save on your utility bill. We're going to show you how to cut it in at least half. We cut ours by a third, more than a third. I don't have an exact number, but maybe by the time I produce this video, there'll be something popping up on the screen down here. That would be good.
Yeah.
So the way we arrange these top 10 is we rank them. So it's not just like arbitrary which ones we think are the best. We looked at the initial cost of investment. That was one factor. We looked at the complexity. Is it something really easy to do, or is it something like pretty difficult to do? And then we looked at the return on investment. And we're going to share with you in the description of this video the spreadsheet that we came up with. But we'll kind of give you the details as we go along. But right now, we're going to keep walking around the park here and then probably head over to the zoo.
Yep, without the kids.
I know, it's a great day.
They don't want to
No
go
kids
with us
today.
anymore. Our youngest is 13, and I asked him the other day, you want to go to the zoo with me? And he said, no. No, actually, it wasn't that. I said, I was hoping to go to the zoo today. And he said, not with me. So I guess I'm going with you.
The zoo's the best. So, yeah. Well, I'll have a great day with you at the zoo.
That's right.
All right, we'll see you there.
I see you standing there, a soothing atmosphere. Smell of your aftershave, sweet blossom in the rain. You flip around your hair as if you're unaware, but you should know that I'm looking at you. You make me feel like I'm made of colors, just you and me, ignore the others. Do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause I do. Believe in lovers like me and you, yeah. You just keep on dancing all night out on the roof. Tell everybody.
All right.
It's final attempt.
Are you going to make it?
I got this.
You hit the side, all sides, and the top so far.
Dialing it in.
Okay.
compensating for atmospheric pressure and wind.
All right, let's go.
So the top 10. Now there's one on here that we want to put on here, but we actually couldn't because it's not available to everybody, and it's called time of use. Do you want to explain what time of use is?
I'll try.
Okay, here we go. Danielle's explanation. Time of use.
So time of use you have to set up with your electrical company. It's not something you can just do on your own. And it is different times of the day and holidays that the electricity is more expensive or less expensive.
Right.
So for instance, in our area, all of the major holidays, you pay 4 cents a kilowatt,
Yep.
which is your least expensive time, same as at night. So from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.,
Correct.
it's only 4 cents a kilowatt, and that's when we run our dryer and we charge our cars. And there's a middle zone during the day too.
Like mid-peak.
Mid-peak, and that's like 8 cents a kilowatt, I think.
No, it's like 12 cents a kilowatt, and then on peak hours is 24 cents a kilowatt. Now,
It's a dramatic difference.
yeah, just give you a frame of reference. If we weren't on this system, we'd be paying 8 cents a kilowatt plus taxes, so it'd come out to about 12 cents a kilowatt. So 4 cents is a huge savings. It's a third of what we would normally pay, and there's no additional taxes with it. You don't pay any extra. You just pay the 4 cents. So moving to this, what it means is you have to move all of your major appliances, anything that takes a lot of electricity, either onto solar during the day, or you move them onto the time of use. So like our dryer, we only run at night. We only charge our cars at night.
We only run our big hot water heater
Right,
at night unless we need to switch it over for a short period of time.
Right.
Sundays in our area are 4 cents a kilowatt all day.
Laundry day.
That's laundry day and cooking day.
Yeah, our range, we run, we can run either way. Like our cooktop and our range, we can either run off solar or we can run off the grid. But on Sundays, we just usually push it to the grid unless we have tons of sunlight.
Yeah.
So just to throw that out on there, if you are looking to save money, the first thing you should do is find out if your utility company has time of use, because it is a game changer. You do have to sort of organize things differently, but it will save you the most money the fastest.
Yes.
It saved us a ton of money right off the bat. So we didn't put it on the top 10 just because it's not available to everybody, and you have to find out if your utility company offers it. So now that we got time of use out of the way, here's your top 10. Oh, drum roll. Your top 10. So coming in at number 10 is solar panels. And the reason they're not higher up on the list is they're fairly expensive. They take a while to pay off. Now, there's two ways to set them up. You can have them on grid, which means your power goes to the electric company and they give you credit for it. Or you can have them off grid, like we have ours, and we store all of our energy and we use it during the day. The main reason we did this was because during time of use, where it's peak energy, that's when the sun's out. So instead of using our grid, we just use
The sun.
our solar panels. There you go. All right, so we're gonna go head into the zoo and we'll keep rolling down our list. Almost forgot, in between each of the top 10 that Danielle and I talk about today, we're gonna give you some more information, so we'll be back at the house doing that. So here's Bryan to give you a little more information about number 10, solar panels. So this is our solar array. It's a 3,600 watt solar array system. Now you might be asking, why not get more solar panels? I've seen a lot more solar panels on other roofs. And the answer is solar panels are very expensive. The average solar panel takes about 7 years to pay off. And so we didn't want to have to buy any more than we needed. Now, there's a couple of other reasons too. One, I don't have much more room on this side of the house. I could go down here, but we've got the skylight and there's some pipes down here that are in the way, so it kind of takes up some space. The other reason is the back side of the house is at just the right angle to hit the sun, and it's facing south. The front side of the house, we would get very little solar collection because it's facing the wrong direction. So you want to think about when you're adding solar panels to your roof, they got to be facing the right direction. And how many do you need of them? If you don't need more, especially like us, where you have a hybrid system where you're collecting some energy based on time of use, you're not going to need the solar panels for anything other than just the day when you're not buying electricity from the grid. Number 9 is an off-grid storage system. It incorporates batteries and an inverter, but we're going to tell you a little more about that back at the house. The reason it was number 9 is because it's very expensive. It's the second most expensive item on the list, and it's also not easy to install. You probably
it is not a DIY unless
you're an electrician. It's not a DIY. Yeah. So you definitely want to make sure if you're doing an off-grid system that you have an electrician install it. But the benefit for us is that it enabled us to have that time of use during the day, or to not use the electricity in the time of use during the day, and use our stored or solar energy.
And also, we're storing in batteries, and we've already used it one time when there was a power outage.
That's true.
In our neighborhood.
Yeah.
We were the only house with lights on at night, and we didn't really realize anything had happened till we hear our neighbors outside going,
Like,
but why are
lights?
their lights on?
That was pretty funny. I forgot about that. So off-grid, that is one advantage, is you don't have to worry about the power going out because you got enough electricity on your own. So it's kind of like having a backup generator. Welcome to our power plant / laundry room. This is our off-grid system, and the off-grid system consists of a couple of things: a solar charger, an inverter, and some very, very large batteries. The purpose of the off-grid system for us is to store energy so we have it to use during the day when we're at peak rates and we don't want to buy electricity from the grid. These batteries can give us enough power to run pretty much the whole day, even in the wintertime when we're getting very little solar energy. From about 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The problem is, though, these batteries store what's called DC voltage, and your house uses AC voltage. So that's where the inverter comes in. The inverter essentially converts DC voltage, what these batteries put out, to AC voltage. Also, the power coming in from the solar cells is DC voltage as well. So if we're getting power from the solar cells and we have more power than we need, they go down to the batteries to store extra power. And if we're getting power from the solar panels and we do need that power, we're using it for like Danielle's cooking or something like that, or we got the lights on, then it goes through the inverter, because whether it's the batteries or the solar panels, it's all DC, but it's got to go out AC current. But the benefit to us is it allows us to be on time of use, and that's where we get our real money. If you're just buying an off-grid system and have an off-grid system, it may not be as cheap as the electricity you can buy from your power company when you add it all up, or it might take a very, very long time to pay off.
Oh, every single flare inside your burning stare. Just wanna be inside, keep dancing in your mind. You'll be my nighttime Valentine. You make me feel like I'm made of colors. Just you and me, ignore the others. Do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause I do. I do believe in lovers like me and you. Yeah, you just keep on dancing on.
So number 8 is a water heater upgrade, and this one is very low cost. It's only about $300, but there's a little bit of difficulty to it. You need to have a little bit of plumbing skills and a little bit of electrical skills. But the idea is that you would buy a smaller water heater to use during the day and only use your big water heater, basically put it on a timer for when you're using it most, like showers and in the evenings. And you don't have to be on time of use for this to work, because if you have your water heater off most of the day, the large water heater, it's going to save you energy, because it's not just heating water while you're at work or not using it. You'd only turn it on during the times that you most need it, and in the times you don't need it, you have a more efficient, smaller water heater. In standard setup, your water heater is on all day long, whether you use it or not. And as soon as the water in it cools off to a point, the heater is going to kick back on and warm it up again. Additionally, when somebody lets out some water, like they're taking a shower and they use the hot water, that's going to cool the water in here, because cold water comes in, hot water goes out, and the element's going to see it and want to kick on and turn it on again. So most of the day we're not home, and so what we decided to do is we decided to put a timer on our water heater. So this is kind of step one. We use this torque timer here, and it's a digital timer. It's got a little program, and it basically turns on at 4 o'clock in the morning and goes till 6 a.m., which is the end of off-peak hours are. So we're buying our electricity as cheap as possible. And during that time, we're getting this thing as hot as we can. We turn it up to highest level that's safe to use. on a water heater. And that will give us pretty much hot water for most of the day. Now, if we do run out, instead of kicking this back on again, we use this guy down here. This is a Bosch 7-gallon water heater. It's very small, it's very efficient, and it doesn't take as much energy as the big guy to heat. Cold water to this, to the big hot water heater, and from the big hot water heater to the little hot water heater. That means that when the Bosch sees the hot water coming from the big hot water heater, worst case, even if it's late in the day, it's warm water instead of cold water, so it's not having to work quite as hard. So let's say that it started at 4 o'clock in the morning and 6 a.m. it was piping hot and nobody uses it, but by the time we get home and take showers, we still can get at least 2 showers out of it. Now, Danielle likes to take baths, and so this is not enough for a bath. But the nice thing with this setup here is pretty easy to use. She can come down here and just hit the on-off switch at any time, and it kicks on the hot water heater. She does it 20 minutes before her bath time, no problem, she'll have plenty of hot water. Another great way to save money with your water heater is if you have a gym membership, shower at the gym.
Out on the roof, tell everybody I do, baby, I do. Wanna stay here and let those, just keep on loving all night. Out on the roof, tell everybody I do, 'cause I
So, good day at the zoo?
It was a great day at the zoo. I'm glad we went later because we missed the rain and not too many people.
And we missed the crowds. Yeah, it seemed like there were a lot of people when we got there, but as we kept going, there were fewer and fewer people. That was nice. It was a nice day to go to the zoo. Thanks
was.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to number 7. Is that right?
Yes.
So number 7 is an energy efficient house. And so we threw this on here because we actually lived in a house that was fairly energy efficient, but it wasn't laid out well for energy efficiency. It was laid out really nicely because everything was on one level. But houses with basements are usually more energy efficient if they're insulated well. And so we just happened to move into the house we're in now and end up purchasing it. We rented first and then we liked it so much we bought it. So something to think about before you do a ton of big upgrades to a house, like the last ones we kind of mentioned, like with the water heater and with the off-grid or on-grid solar. Before you invest into a house like that, you might just consider the house. And some houses are easier to make energy efficient or already energy efficient. You could just move to a different house. And so we thought that really had to be on the list. Now the cost of moving, the average cost we came up with $3,000 was from a couple different websites like U-Haul and I think Ryder, or maybe it was, I can't remember the other one was, but cost of basically moving a family of 4 in town seemed to be right around $3,000. So we don't know, like, you know, if the house is more expensive, less expensive. We just assumed if it's an equal house that's more energy efficient, then you could expect to spend about $3,000, but it's a pretty significant savings per year. You know, you're gonna see somewhere around $500 to $1,000 a year, so it pays off pretty quickly. One of the great benefits of having a small house is it's very easy to cool and heat. This house is not just small, but it has 2 other things going for it. It is very energy efficient. They put a lot of insulation in. The people who owned it before we did, they kind of flipped the house. It's a 1950s house, but they put new siding, new insulation, new roof. So it's really good at holding in the heat or the cool. Additionally, it's a small house and it has a base. When you're cooling or heating the house, you don't need a very large heater or a very large cooling system. Today was a pretty warm day by Portland standards, 93 degrees. So if you live in Southern California, that's really not all that warm. But in Oregon, that's pretty warm. And so we're able to, on our main floor, which is the only floor that gets really hot, we're able to cool our house with a very small, efficient air conditioner. On a day like today where it's 93 degrees outside, I'll take the temperature in here. Even with this thing running at normal speed, not super loud, it's pretty comfortable, 74, 75 degrees. Unless it gets over 95 or close to 100, we don't really have to crank it up full bore, and so it's pretty doable. So down in the basement, this is where we have our master bedroom. and our laundry room and our bathroom. I'm in the laundry room right now here. One of the great things about being down in the basement is the temperature is very consistent all year round. A lot of our basement is concrete, 69 degrees. So it's nice and cool. One of the things Danielle and I love to do is to come down here and just take our shoes off because it's nice and cool. It's really cool. So number 6 is an energy monitor. And we'll tell you a little bit about, we show you the video at the house, the one that we bought, but here's the basic idea. It's kind of like if you've ever done a budget, you don't know how much you're spending on things that you didn't plan to spend money on until you actually track it. And energy tracking is the exact same thing. You can get really nice energy monitors that will cover everything, and if you have an on-grid system, you really should have that, just so you know what your system's doing. The idea is that if you know what's coming out of the fuse box, how much energy you're pulling off that meter in your house, then you're more likely to make informed decisions. So an energy monitor is fairly easy to install. It goes inside your fuse box right here. You don't have to be an electrician to install one of these, but you do want to be careful opening a fuse box and make sure you know how to do so safely. So if you don't feel like you can do that comfortably, then you can definitely hire an electrician. They're not very expensive, a couple $100. We purchased the Nurio brand, mostly because it's the most configurable and it works with our solar system. This is the output you can see here. They'll show you how much grid voltage you're using, how much solar voltage you're using. Right now it's about half and half because we've actually switched to time of use. So you can see we're pulling some power off the grid right now, but we're also still using some of our battery power because they're about 90%. But it'll also get you down to, you can profile different appliances like the water heater, the range, the air conditioner, some of your large appliances to know and track exactly how much energy you're using. This helps you plan your charging schedule. If you have an off-grid system like we do, it also helps you plan upgrades like, do I need to get a bigger inverter, or do I need to install more batteries? But in addition, it helps you make educated decisions about what type of equipment you're going to install if you want to do an off-grid system or any type of solar system. Number 5, small appliances. And this is actually one that this is one that comes from having an energy monitor, because when you have an energy monitor, you'll see how much your appliances use, and you realize, do I need to put this in the oven, or could I put it into like an air fryer, or do I need to
Toaster oven or something like that.
Yeah, something smaller. It makes you think a little different about how you're using stuff. Or maybe I can run like a little oil heater instead of turning on the whole heat system.
Oh, and we realized our crock pots, which are supposed to, they're advertised as being efficient and you don't have to think about them,
right,
actually take so much more energy than my Instant Pot.
Yep.
Which I can do in a fraction of the time and a fraction of the energy costs.
Exactly. So small appliances are a great way to save on energy, and these are some of our favorite appliances, our favorite small appliances. Now, just full disclosure, we're not funded by Ninja, but we do really like their small appliances because they make the best small appliances. And some of these save you energy, some of them we just really like, but here's the ones that we use the most, that save us the most energy. These two right here. This one is the Ninja, it's a air dryer, right? Did I get that right?
Air dryer, roaster, and dehydrator.
All in one. Now, what we love about it is it actually works basically like a convection oven. And so when you're running this thing, it's less than 1/10 the amount of power of our big range. Now, our big range is great when we're doing big stuff, cakes or like
casserole.
A casserole. Exactly, yeah. But most of the time, especially we have teenagers.
Yes.
They
just want something quick and fast, and this they can make on their own. And we go through a boatload of tortillas.
Quesadillas.
Because they just make every imaginable kind of quesadilla.
They refer to this as the quesadilla machine. Now, one thing I do really like about this model, unlike some air fryers, is it's also a dehydrator. Right now, we are dehydrating, yes, my favorite. You can get a close-up of that. We got I'm making some zucchini chips. They're really good. Came right from our garden. Another one that's really common is a coffee maker. Now, Ninja makes a how would you describe it? It's a single cup coffee maker, basically.
Yeah, without it being the K-cup Keurig. So you don't have the little Keurig cups that you just throw in the garbage or try to recycle.
Right.
It will do single cups. It'll do up to a big
Super
travel
big,
cup.
yep. And it does it
yeah.
pretty quick, too. Like, even if a couple people need to make coffee, it'll make it really quick. But the benefit is you're not heating up a whole ton of coffee in a pot.
Right.
That is going to then stay on for hours and keep heating. And for the composting side of it, like you said, unlike the K-cups, I can just take the grounds right out and put in a composter. Makes excellent compost, super fast. Another product we really love is the what is this one? This is the blender?
The Ninja Blender.
Okay. It's the Ninja Blender because we like making smoothies. But again, even with something like this, when you're thinking about saving energy, it's worth it usually to take a step down and see what else they have. Now, like when it's the weekend, this is the one that usually comes out because I'll make a smoothie and everybody wants a smoothie.
Mine.
Exactly. But in the morning, I use this guy. And this takes half the power of this one, and it makes obviously half the size.
And
of it.
your to-go cup fixed in there, so you just head to work.
You'll notice this is missing because it's in the dishwasher right
Yep.
now. But appliances are really important because they take up during the day most of your power, especially in the kitchen. And so thinking about like even our refrigerator, we got a very efficient refrigerator. And we got one that fit exactly the size that we wanted.
We scaled down, so we weren't overfilling an extra large refrigerator just because we could, for one thing.
We used to have two.
We used to have two.
Yeah.
And we've scaled down to one that's smaller and counter depth.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stand out from our counters.
It's also full all the time, and a full fridge is actually more cost efficient than a half empty fridge because you have items that are staying cool and they're insulating the refrigerator, so you're not cooling a whole bunch of air basically. Yeah. And even things like our microwave, we have a 900 watt microwave, which is a very small microwave. I have to be careful because when I go to work, I think it's like a 2,000 watt.
I know, same with mine. 30 seconds and it's hot. Here it takes 2 minutes.
Yeah, so you kind of have to decide what makes the most sense. But the other benefit of these is that we have a small kitchen, and so having a lot of really large appliances doesn't make sense. But these guys save a ton of energy, and they don't have a huge drop. Now, number 10 that we talked about, or number 9 that we talked about, which is the off-grid system. If you do go with an off-grid system, these are a must because you will not be able to run a whole bunch of appliances at the same time if they're big. Like we have to be careful when we run our range that we're also not running our hot water heater or the range. What's another one? And,
the microwave sometimes will. It just depends on the percentages and where
how much
we're
battery
at.
you have left.
Yeah, I plan my baking or my cooking for specific times when it's really sunny out and we're not doing anything else, or on Sundays because we're on time of use, and Sundays are dirt cheap to use the electrical grid.
Yeah. When you're thinking about saving energy, think about small appliances. And Ninja, if you're watching this, we're okay if you want to sponsor us. Okay, number 4 is home automation. Now, I'm a little biased on this. I think it should be number 1, although it's not. Mostly just because it's super cool and I'm a nerd.
Yes, you are a nerd.
But it is convenient, right?
It is convenient once you get used to it.
Right.
Sometimes it would be nice to go in and flip a regular light switch.
We have light switches.
We have buttons.
We have buttons. That's true. We do have some switches, though, that are programmed.
That you've left, so people visiting our house go in the bathroom and know what to push.
Yeah. So the thing about a home automation system, the biggest downside, it will save you a lot of money because it puts everything on a schedule.
Or if you're away from home,
if you forget something, you can turn it on. If you're away from home, you can check to see if your son left his oil heater on in his room. But the biggest downside is the app is not super easy to set up. It's easy to use, but not easy to set up. And many of the things on the list, like light switches, you're going to have to be a bit of an electrician or hire an electrician to install them.
Or hire you.
I'm busy with the YouTube channel, so. But the point being is they're a little complicated, but they are worth it, and they do pay off even if you do end up hiring an electrician. That's why it's kind of higher on the list. They do pay off over time, and they are extremely convenient.
Number 3 is gas heat.
Ooh, yeah, okay. This is a tricky one because gas heat technically is not as clean as, let's say, electric heat. That being said, that's assuming that your electric heat is coming from a clean source. If you have electric heat and you live in a state that mostly has coal or some other kind of not clean energy, then that electric heat is not helpful. Here's a way to think about it. If you use gas heat, yes, you're emitting CO2, okay? However, gas is the lowest form of CO2 emission for an energy source, for a heating source. And electricity is really not efficient for heating. You would know this if you have an electric car and you turn on your heat in your car.
It takes a little while.
It takes a little while, and your mileage goes straight down. So it's really about efficiency, and gas heat is so much cheaper than electric heat. To give you a scale, it's about a third the cost for a gas heating system versus a super efficient heat pump, which would be electric. As far as the volume of CO2 that's emitted into the atmosphere, it's somewhere, for our house, I did the calculation, it's somewhere around 2.5 tons. Okay.
A year?
A year.
Okay.
That's right, yeah, per year. The average car driving around 11,000 miles a year with 22 miles a gallon, this is the stat I saw, emits almost 5 tons. So here's the thing. If you can save that money by switching to gas, or if you have gas, that frees up funds to go buy an electric car. So it's more about using it inexpensively. Let me give you one other stat too, just to give you some perspective. If you're average meat eater, someone who eats meat on a regular basis, and you just switch to eating only vegetarian, that right there will save almost 6 tons of CO2. So the amount of energy, the amount of CO2 emission of a gas furnace is pretty low by comparison of so many other things. These life hacks, it's got to kind of balance. It can't just be healthy and clean for the environment. It has to be affordable too. And electric heat is just not affordable. So if you're gonna have CO2 emission, have it in gas heat in your house, because it's the cheapest way to do it. And it's kind of the least amount of CO2 emission, and save somewhere else. Go vegetarian, buy an electric car, do something like that. Okay, so we got a couple more to do, but first, Trader Joe's.
Yes.
Gotta find Sasquatch.
Yes.
Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2233, I'm on 10 again, state your name. Big been dope on flame, I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again, I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags.
We got all our shopping done at Trader Joe's.
Yes.
Got a nice glass of wine.
Got some sparkling water. I'm not a wine fan.
Oh, this is pretty good. You want to try some?
I think, yeah.
Okay. So our last two of the top 10. Are we ready? These are biggies.
I think so.
So the next one is an electric vehicle. And we've already talked about this. We had our first episode actually was on electric vehicles. So when you look at the numbers, the initial cost is obviously the highest thing on the list. So it gets a 10. But the car buying experience, we debate about this one. I think buying a car is pretty easy.
I hate buying cars. I want to go in with the amount I'm willing to pay and just sign on the dotted line.
It's debatable, but here's the point, is that the thing that really gave the cost value a big kick was the fact that you save so much money. You save a ton of money. The return on investment is immediate. Now, I know what you're saying, well, if I'm buying a brand new car, then that means I have to pay out all this money. And that's true. However, you could get a loan for the vehicle. You also could wait until you're going to buy a new car anyway. I tend to believe that no matter what you're doing, you're gonna spend at least $1,500 a year on a car. Let's say you buy a brand new car and you spend all this money, maybe $20,000 on a new car. Well, it's gonna take a while. You might not have any maintenance on that car or any other costs other than gasoline, but that 20,000 you're going to amortize across the first 7 years. At some point though, like our car, the one we traded in, was old enough that we were replacing the clutch, replacing the air conditioner. Like we had a bill once a year that was costing us close to $1,500. So I think it's kind of break even there. Now the part that you really save money on is, even if you're buying a used electric vehicle with some miles on it, you still don't have maintenance on it other than tires. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
And you immediately start saving on gas.
Yes.
A lot of money on gas. We would have been paying, with our driving right now, close to $400 a month. That's pretty average. We're $30 a month. Now the last one is the simplest. It's the cheapest. And it does have a low return on investment compared to most of the other ones, but it's so simple to do and anybody can do it, and that is LED lights. All these lights,
all your lights with LED lights.
Yeah, you will instantaneously recoup the cost. LED lights, when they first came out, were very expensive. Now you can get LED bulb replacements for like $5. And even though incandescence might be about $1, within 1 month of electrical use, you'll pay it back. Not to mention, LED lights will last, the expectation is somewhere between 20 and 25 years. Incandescence is going to last maybe a year. And so even within 5 years, forget the electricity, that alone will make up the difference. Before we went off grid, I was noticing that we had about 900 watts that was just for lighting. The LEDs, that dropped it down to below 100 watts for the lights. So that's a big deal when you're talking about our solar panels that are 3,600 watts, using 900 of that just for lights. That's a lot. So those are our top 10. Hope you agree. Maybe we left something really big off the list, but if we did, post a comment in there. Tell us what you think we missed, or maybe we put something a little higher on the list or a little lower on the list. Let us know what you think. Good day at the zoo.
Yes.
That was a great day to go to the zoo. Not a ton of people there. It was, it was
Thank
really
you for my
nice.
early birthday present.
You're welcome. Oh, you don't want the other one. There's another one coming too.
Oh boy. I'm very
She's gonna like
spoiled.
that. Yeah. We got the garden shed done, got the door done.
Yep.
That's good. And I was just looking when I came out here, our rain barrels are full. It
Well, I'm
rained
sure
this
they
morning.
are. It
was
rained a
so
lot this
weird.
morning.
Yeah, and we didn't think it was going to rain today. It was so
Right.
strange. Well, anyway, we are so glad that you joined us for another episode. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you know about every episode. They come out every
Wednesday.
Making your hump day a better day. Get you through the week with some Unplugged Urban. And also hit the little bell so you get notifications. For right now, we're, almost had it. Signing out.